Okay. Proportional, non-proportional. A proportional relationship, a proportional linear relationship, when x is 0 and the y is also 0. So table and graph. When the y-intercept is 0. So yesterday we said that direct variation equation was y equals kx, where there is no b, there's no y-intercept. Okay? So, and I was saying that that is proportional because there's no y-intercept. Okay? Y equals mx plus b, your slope-intercept form, that can be proportional as long as your b is 0. Okay, so if it's an equation, there's no y-intercept, or the y-intercept is 0. So for example, y equals 2x plus 0, or y equals 2x. Okay? If you have a table, you want to see the x value of 0 and the y value of 0. So 0, 0. And then think about a graph. What is 0, 0 on the graph? The origin's right in the center, right? So if you have 0, 0 on your table, that means you have a point at the origin. So that makes it proportional because there's 0, 0. So then same thing with the graph. If your graph goes through the origin, if it goes through 0, 0, then it's proportional. So looking at some not proportional, not normal. When x is 0, but the y is not 0. So when the y-intercept is anything but 0, which would be y equals mx plus b, where b actually has a value that's not just 0. So an example equation, 3x minus 5, because there's this little extra at the end. Okay, so that's an example of an equation. If it's a graph, look and see where your slope crosses the y-axis. If it's anywhere besides the origin, then it's non-proportional. Okay, so it's not proportional because it doesn't go through the origin. It goes through at like -4. Then for a table, you'll know it's non-proportional if you don't have 0, 0. So where we have an x value of 0, we have a y value of 1. So that would mean our y-intercept is 1 instead of 0. So it's non-proportional. Okay, so the first example, determine if the graph is proportional or non-proportional. What do we think? Does it start, if the origin is here, does it start at the origin or go through the origin? No. No, so then it has to be non-proportional. Okay, the next example, determine if the following equation is proportional or non-proportional. So y equals 0.75x, what do you think? Proportional, why is it proportional though? Because there's no y-intercept, there's no plus something, it's plus 0. So that would be proportional. And on word problems, when we look at those in a second, that plus something is usually like a fee or an extra charge. Then the next table, determine if the table is proportional or non-proportional. What do we think? Non-proportional, and why do we think it's non-proportional? Good, because when my x value is 0, my y value is something else. If that was 0, then it would be proportional, but since it's 3, it's another number. Non-proportional. Determine if the following equation is proportional or non-proportional. So y equals 8.5x plus 3.
Non-proportional.
Non-proportional, and what makes it non-proportional?
Plus 3.
The plus 3. Non-proportional. And it's that plus 3 that makes it non-proportional. It's that extra. So if it was on a graph, it would start at 3 instead of 0. Then the graph, determine if the graph is proportional or non-proportional. Proportional, why? It starts at 0, 0, or the origin. the very last one, is this table proportional or non-proportional? Non. I found 0, but the corresponding y value was 5. It wasn't 0, so that makes it non-proportional. So the next type of proportional and non-proportional relationships are these word problems. So same thing, proportional starts at 0, currently has nothing, or where your b value is 0. Okay, so there's nothing like words that you'll see initial fee. I guess I should put that on the bottom one. So, but non-proportional does not start at 0, y equals mx plus b, where b is anything but 0. So b is some type of value. A lot of times you'll see that b as being called an initial fee or a charge. Okay, so it's something extra. So the first example, we're just going to make an equation out of it, and then we'll decide if it's proportional or non-proportional. So if Courtney won the state lottery and will get paid the entire amount of her winnings in equal monthly installments over 40 years. So we could write it 40x, because she's going to get $40 a month or equal monthly installments for 40 years. Okay, so equal installments, so y equals 40x. So they're not going to give her a flat sum and then $40 or money every 40 years. They're just going to give her the same amount of money for 40 years. So that would be proportional. Example 2, Shirley won the state lottery and will get paid a quarter of her winnings up front and then get paid the remainder of her winnings in equal monthly installments over 35 years. So that one is kind of the same. Instead of making an equation, because I don't know that these are good for making an equation, but if she gets paid a quarter of it up front and then gets paid in monthly installments, would that be proportional or non-proportional? Why? What makes it non-proportional?
She got paid a quarter of it.
She had an initial fee type. I mean, she was given an initial amount of money, and then it grew and was the same amount every month for 35 years. So that would make it non-proportional. I'm just going to write not NP. Okay, what about Tony's grandfather gives him an $18,000 gift. Tony then gets a job and makes $3,400 per month. Non-proportional. Because that would really look like 3,400 x plus the $1,800 gift. You can make an equation out of that one. Okay, what about Cindy pays $90 every week for gasoline? Proportional. She's not paying an initial amount up front. She's paying that every single month, so that makes it proportional. There's no extra. Kylie receives a birthday present of $150, then starts a job that pays her $4,100 every month. That is good money. Non-proportional because it's saying she starts, well, technically she starts with $150 and then she gets a job and she gets paid that every month. Good for her. She's doing well. And then Brian recently graduated college and makes $5,100 every month at his new job. Is there any extra he's getting paid up front no matter what?
No.
No, it's just $5,100
Technically, would
every
we be
month.
into debt?
Technically, yeah. I'm sure he's losing some money somewhere, but he's making.
I'm not recording this.
Okay, first example in the back, proportional or non-proportional?
Proportional.
Why? What makes it proportional?
There is no B.
There
There isn't a B.
There's no B. There's no plus something. It's
No y-intercept.
plus 0 technically. No y-intercept. What about the next one?
Non-proportional.
Non-proportional
There's a negative
because
Y-intercept.
it starts, there's a initial fee. There's a y-intercept. And the last example,
B. Proportional.
proportional. Because there is no extra fee, there's no B value, no y-intercept.